we've built out this framework for a line marking company that handles inbound, outbound, follow-ups, qualification, bookings, the whole system, and then creates content and reports and feeds back into their analytics databases so we can capture and track everything. So what we've got here is the initial workflow, which is just inbound. So whether that's from your website, where they get a call, maybe they have to send out text, email, or just like an onboarding fallback, and then it logs the action straight after that. If we move here, it normalizes the data, removes duplications, figures out where it needs to go. This is the intelligent enrichment. So it looks at everything they're targeting, their historical performance on Google, compares it to their competitors. So it maps out a lot about the company, and then if they're doing paid ads or anything like that, and then the site map, and then we go look into every single page on their site so we can figure out what they do and how they do it. And then it just builds out some enrichment based off that, which we then feed into our outbound agents, checks if it's within the time, pulls out the calendar, figures out when you're free, and then makes a call. And these calls have massive prompts that are injected into it, maybe 10 times bigger than this, with all custom enriched data, rules, style, process instructions, business name, industry, and then information about the company. This one here, down here, is an email agent, so it creates links, are all custom tracked. Very important for analytics to see what campaigns are working, so we can do what I kind of like to do is kill campaigns early when you don't see results. Here we've got an outbound texter, does the same thing, creates links, sends an outbound text to whoever your customer is, figures out what to say, keeping them engaged, sending them in the right direction, and then just sending them down the pipeline. So this one's a post-call text message. So based off the call, if they wanted like a booking link or essentially they need some more information, we can send it via here. And then this replies to any text conversations going on. And then if we come down here, this is post-call. So it figures out if it needs to text or send an email. Some people prefer the email system. And it sends a really nice custom HTML email that we log all on your CRM. So this is one of the AI calling systems, so we can see the kind of data we get. This is like endless. So we can track every single word, every element of the call, essentially. And this is what some of the prompts look like. It's got some quoting tools built in there. And then what we do from the call is figure out what happened, so make sure we send it into the right category. And these log all the data, so you can track everything. If we can open up this, there we go. So you can see all the data we log per call. We track all the pricing, everything that was said, what happened in the call. We track all objections. We capture a lot of information. So essentially we can make much more informed decisions about refining. We've got our analysis post-call just for tracking purposes. And with this information, we can make much more informed decisions. We've got every single element here that we can track on the call. We do, like costs, reply times, transport, what words we use, what part of the prompts were analyzed, how many token outputs, any objections and how to handle those objections, and then any custom details about the customer that you need, really. We're very big on data first, so we make sure everything there is tracked. And then we need to analyze it, figure out what happened with it. The reporting for us is a big one. So this makes a really nice report about what happened per day. It does it at the end of each call day or each text day, brings in all the elements, and then figures out what happened. Every call that's happened that is good call, like a very good call, like a meeting booked, it sends that into the report. We send them in here and then we recall. And then if they're like not interested, busy, contract locked, we just funnel that into do not continue. And then up here, it just sends out the report. And then if there's any quotes that need to be made based off like the information for this client, the car park, we can pull in the lines, how many disabled parks they discussed, and then we put that into a quote and pretty much touch free. And we can send this out through an invoice on Stripe or Xero, and then just track all elements of what happens on Stripe. So if there's conversion, and then if there's a booking, we also will be tracking this to figure out what happened, if it was a cancellation or if it's a meeting. And then we've got our real conversion tracking. So if there's a booking link that gets sent out and it doesn't get clicked, we're tracking all this. We can send out another booking link. Maybe they didn't get it. We text them out via WhatsApp. We mix up the mediums to make sure they get what they were expecting and they see it. Any customers in our pipeline. This is something tailored. They were doing social media campaigns. So we built out a UGC machine that pretty much just does testimonials, generates the image, makes the video, prompts, ideas, the audio. We did end up using a different framework and then a publisher across all their 6 social medias. So it went on Instagram and Facebook. We put it on Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, YouTube, getting a lot of content around their company out there, which is really good for leading into AEO. We can get an overall snapshot of what the framework looks like. This is something we can custom tailor to anyone. One particular on NNM was done because our customer who we're doing consulting for needs to be able to go and look in, and he wanted to be able to make some decisions and play around with it himself. So we built him out the framework really easy and modular so we can go and implement any changes he needs. But yeah, thank you for listening.